And this is my topic. This is Nebosh Element1 IGC 1. On this topic, it's called Safe Working Practice for Access Equipment. What are access equipment? These are equipment that is used when working in a high place, right? Like ladders and man lift. You have some equipment which you will stand on, which will help you to do a work at an higher height. So when we're talking about that one, I'm going to mention the equipment that we are going to use in working on a height and the preventives, right? So first of all, we're talking about ladder, right? Ladder include the steps of a ladders and the thrust tool, right? Should be well maintained and installed on a sound and a level base. They should also be of the correct quality and length for the task and the environment. Metal ladders near unprotected leaves electrical circuits, right? Then also we talk about number 2, talk about independent tie scaffold. Independent tie scaffold, like irons that they are put together, like when you are working in painting in a high buildings, or in Africa we can use also a wood or a stick. It depends, you understand, so when using this one, scaffold is made up of the following basic components, like standard. What is standard? Standard or upright, that is vertical tubes used as support for transferring a load to the ground or to a base plate. Then you have the ledge. What is ledge? A horizontal tube turning the scaffold and structure lengthwise. They may also act as a guide rail. Then you have the transope tube spanning across the ledge and to tie a scaffold across at the right angle to the face of the building. They may also be used to support a working platform. Then we talk about mobile tower scaffold. What is mobile tower scaffold? Mobile tower scaffold are light duty scaffold, only commonly used for painting and simply maintenance job on a building. Mobile elevators, elevating work platform. These are pieces of power lifting equipment designed to carry a person and must be thoroughly examined every 6 months by a competent person, in addition to the precautions to be taken when in use. There are other precautions when on moves. Example, ensure that the boom is secure, since it may swing in, losing and hit overcome traffic or building. So this simply means that when you are using the mobile elevating work platform, there is a machine which can lift workers. Like if you are doing painting or welding, or you are working in a height, they have one machine that can lift people up, sometimes called also boom, right? So they should do all the time, do inspection on this booming, right, every 6 months. In other way, maybe accidents can occur, so they have to do inspection also, right? Then also talking about edge protection system. What is edge protection system? Is an edge protection system is especially a barrier fixed onto the existing structure in order to prevent a person walking or falling off an open edge. These are commonly used in a roof work in the form of scaffold, platform or barrier. So barrier edge protection, they can use this one to protect people, so people will know that this I should not go beyond this point, right? So like if they put a scaffold, they put this barrier, so someone cannot have access to that way. It can prevent and control the mind, right, of people also. Then we are talking about inspection of access equipment. This inspection of this access equipment, like the leather, the mobile lifting machine. So this one, how they do the inspection: all working equipment, example guide railway, and the board, the barrier, safeguard, arrest, falls, should also be inspected and tested by a competent person as appropriate for a safety purpose. In particularly, all working platform, including a scaffolding, should also be inspected, right? They should always do inspection on them. Then when they are first erected, they should also inspect them. Then after any sustainable alternation, they should also inspect them. Then after an event like to affect the strength or the stability, they should always check them. Then periodically, they should always check this machine. Then we're talking about temporary work. What is temporary work? Temporary work include the short-term building projects, building maintenance, and renovation or demolition or excavation work. So these are called temporary work, like short-term building maintenance when they are maintaining, or renovation of building, like demolish when they want to demolish on certain place. These are all called temporary work. Then what are the main hazard? The main hazard that sometimes happen when they are doing temporary work. The hazard associated with temporary work will vary, depends on the nature of the work, but it include what are the hazards that can occur. Hazard associated with working environment such as extreme outdoor temperature. Then also hazard associated with safe movement through the temporary working sites such as slip, trip, and fall. Then working at an height such as fall from the height and falling object on someone. Then also vehicle hazard such as vehicle overturn, right? Then also manual handling such as lifting of components during maintenance activity. Then also lifting operation hazard such as collapse of mobile crane, right? Sometimes this with no service or what, this mobile crane also can collapse. Then tools and equipment hazard such as mechanical hazard. Mechanical hazard can also occur wherein fire come from the machine or other thing. Then also fire hazard associated with working activity such as cutting and grading, right? And also flammable liquid like gas use such as propane, right? That is fire hazard. Then excavation such as collapse of the excavation, right? Then demobilization, it's called demolish hazard such as premature collapse of the structure, right? So like you have to be careful when you are demolishing building, right? Maybe if you go and eat the like you are demolishing from under, maybe the power of the basement is no longer good, so the building will also collapse on someone also. Then chemical and biological hazard such as habitus and destruct and during the refurbishment of work. Then noise and vibration hazard such as those generated by machines such as digs or cutter, right? So this vibration, this machine also can damage ears, right? Then we're talking about control measures and management of temporary work. Temporary work like those talking about maintenance, short-term billing, and also like this demolition also is short-term work, right? Then risk assessment. When we're talking about management, we have to talk about the risk assessment. The temporary work and its impact on the existing workplace may be fully risk assessed. Like we're talking about communication and cooperation. Effective communication and cooperation between the various parties undertaking the work and all these effects by the work is essential. This simply means that control measures that if people are doing demolition, right, so they should have communication with everybody that are working there, so everybody will know this is what is going on. People should understand that I should not use this way and we should use this way. So communication and cooperation is more important to protect people or to eradicate accidents. Then we're talking about another control measure called competent people. All of the people involved in temporary work must be competent. This includes not only the workers involved in the work itself, but also those involved in the management of the work. So everybody should be competent in their work. They should put proper arrangement that this time we are going to work, this time we should do this one, we should do this one. So everyone should know that at this particular moment I'm supposed to fix this. So everybody will work as a team. So there should be a competence, among them. Then we're talking about segregation, right? The word segregation also is already defined itself. Segregation means to segregate that these things are not supposed to be here, not supposed to be here. So we're talking about the area where the temporary work are to take place must be effectively segregated from the existing workplace. So this simply means that if you are working in this area, you have to condemn the area from where you are not working. You have to put barricade that people should not use this area to prevent people. Let's say you are doing you are fixing glass in this particular areas. You are working at a height. So you have to put prevention, you have to put barrier at that area so people will not use that area, right? So this is what we mean by segregation. You have to segregate it from the area that you are not working, Then we're talking about emergency procedures in this control measure. Emergency procedures, consideration must be also given to the emergency procedures that may have to be established because of the nature of the temporary work. So in case of anything want to happen, because accident is inevitable, so you put a safety precautions that in case of any emergency, these are the procedures that we're supposed to follow, right? So we say consideration must also be given to the existing emergency procedures that have to be modified as a consequence of the impact of any temporary work, right? Then we're talking about welfare provision. What is welfare provision in these control measures? Adequate welfare provision just be made for the workers engaged in the temporary work. This will include access to drinking water, sanitary convenience, changing rooms, washing facility, accommodation for clothing. So all these things should be provided for people who are working in these short-term demolitions or working in these areas, right? So they should also have a welfare provisions at that particular time, right? So we're talking about what is excavation and demolition work, right? We're talking about excavation and demolition work. Excavation hazard include like falling of person or equipment or material into excavation, right? Then contact with burnt service, burial service, then collapse of excavation, right? So if there is no prevention of this excavator, it can collapse. Then collapse of adjacent structure, right? Then water ingress or flood. So sometimes when you are digging some certain place, water can ignite, or also maybe the water, like the main water pipe is passed to that place, it can damage that water pipe, you understand? So you have to be careful and watch of those things. Then hazardous substance from contaminated ground. If maybe you are excavating this ground, you understand, some certain materials or minerals are there, it can also be contaminated. Then you're talking about mechanical hazard from a excavator, right? Then we're talking about what are the control measures, how you can control this, like falling of person, contact with burial service, So the control measures, supervision by a competent person. person should always be there to supervise when this excavation process is going on, right? Like battering or stumble, slipping or side, then shoving, right? Stop for the side of the wall, then barrier, fence, and to prevent the fall of people or material or vehicle. Then ladder, secure and extend above the excavation to give a secure step off point. Then crossing points where people should cross of a sound construction with a guide rail and tow board, right? Then light and warning sign should also provided. Then personal protective equipment also should be where. Then the location should be identified that we are working. Work is on progress, so people will not go unexpected at place. Then carefully position and the routes of vehicles, right? Where other vehicles should use, you should always give them direction. Then inspection by a competent person before using at any equipment or at the start of each shift after any event, right? Should always do inspection of all equipment or the excavation that is going on. All right, we're talking about demolition. What is demolition in this topic? Demolition is like when you are demolishing something, right? It can either be vehicles or it be like a house. It depends on the context, right? What are the hazards include? Premature collapse of this structure. Also, structure can also collapse. Whichever whichever structure that you are demolished can also be fall. Then work at an height also. Then plants and machinery also. Then contact with lives overhead, right? Then also contact with burial service. Then absorbs. Then also of gas or any other chemical. Then dust also, right? When you are doing excavation, sometimes dust can come out from the maybe the ground or maybe the building, so that one also can also lead to hazard. Maybe can damage you, or maybe it can go to your eyes, you understand? Then movement of the vehicle, right? Movement of this vehicle, the excavator, also can be an hazard. Then explosive, right? So maybe when you are doing excavation, sometimes maybe some certain gas materials or any other thing can lead to explosion, right? Then also talking about noise and vibration, because of the noise and vibration of the walls, that when you are doing this excavation also can also be an hazard to the ear or the body also, right? Then we're talking about hazardous substance also. Maybe if you meet some certain substance when you are digging a ground or a building, it can also be harmful. Then you're talking about biological hazard also. Biological hazard, let's say like people working in big factory, like in industry, right? They are doing some certain excavation also. You meet some certain chemical that is toxic, can also be exploded and also cause biological hazard. Then the shape of certain equipment also can also lead to hazard. Then manual handling of the material, the equipment, like this equipment they use for excavation. If you don't know how to use it, it can also create hazard, right? So what are the control measures that you should use in this demolition, right? Number one, you're talking about carefully assess and plan of work. How we are going to work, you have to assess and know that these are how I should carry the duty of doing this demolition. You should have a plan. Then you should elimination or control of the working height. These are the height that I'm going to work, right? So you always try to look at the height, if you can work that particular height, or how you can get a lifting system like this man lift or other equipment to do this work, right? Then also you're talking about the structure survey and putting support to prevent collapse. How you can start this work, like maybe for accident not to occur, right? Maybe if you are doing demolition, you start from under, then maybe you start from under, then the on top of the building have more power, it can either lead to collapse. Then assessing the strength and the stability of the floor, right? So where you are working, you are standing, you have to assess the floor whether it's strong, because this machine you are using for demolition is also vibrating and have more power, right? Then we're talking about disconnection of services, right? So So also you have to be careful where there is a service pass like internet cables or water or other thing. You have to watch the map of the building of this facility where this service pass, right, for you not to damage this service. The removal and disposal of all hazardous substance. So any hazardous substance that is where you are doing your demolition, they have to remove all these explosive gas or anything that you know that is explosive, or you have to remove them from where you are doing your demolition. Then is securing the sites with fence. So this simply means that whenever you are doing demolition, right, in every area you should put a condom, you should put a sign that nobody is allowed there, you understand, unless authorized people that is allowed there. Also then we're talking about damping down a dust with a water spray. So like if you are doing demolition, also you have to make sure also that you put water around, maybe because there are a lot of dust which might ignite, so maybe it can lead to you cannot see what you are doing. At the end of the day, accidents can occur. So these are the hazards that can occur when you are doing demolition, right? Demolish. So I stop here, and my next topic I'm going to talk about IGC 2 International General Certificate in Nebosh. I'm going to talk about the part 2, another topic. So this topic of IGC 1 is already finished. Yeah.